St. Dunstan, remembered 19th of May. St. Dunstan is patron saint of blacksmiths, locksmiths, goldsmiths, and bell ringers. A former Archbishop of Canterbury, he is most famous for the legend in which, whilst working at a blacksmith's forge, which was his hobby and helped him to pray whilst engaged in practical work, a young woman comes to him with an item to repair, and then she begins to flirt whilst he works. As she steps over a dropped hammer, St. Dunstan sees she has cloven feet under her skirt and begins to heat his metal tongues in the fire. After a few minutes, as she continues to circle him, and he kept at work with his task, he suddenly uses the tongues to grab her by the nose. The young woman screams as she turns to an old crone and then to the devil himself, before St. Dunstan turns him out of the window. Other legends have St. Dunstan shoeing the devil with horseshoes to give him sore feet and a noisier arrival. There is little beyond a skill as a blacksmith and an artist to connect these legends to the real Archbishop. Blacksmith's tongues, however, are his symbol. He is also remembered for his art. One illumination which survives from the Glastonbury class book is by St. Dunstan and shows Christ seated. Beside the figure of Christ is a small kneeling monk, which is thought to be a self-portrait of Dunstan. St. Dunstan was raised near the ruins of Glastonbury Abbey. As a young boy, he would speak about the ruined abbey being restored one day, as the Irish monks who lived there gave him his education. In later years, when he was made abbot, he did indeed restore the abbey. He is credited with the restoration of monastic living and many churches at a time when both were on the wane in England. Often the confidant of kings, the relationship was not always smooth. When the young King Edwig succeeded to the throne, he was late for his own coronation. Dunstan found the young king in bed with another man's wife. The bishop struck the king and physically dragged him to meet his waiting nobles. Dunstan's relationship with Edwig was supposedly strained after this event. He was made Bishop of Winchester and London before finally becoming Archbishop of Canterbury. Travelling to Rome to collect the symbols of his office, he is said to have distributed so much to the poor on their journey that his companions feared they would starve before reaching Rome. Many great achievements and reforms are credited to Dunstan at this time, and he created the coronation ceremony, which is still the basis for the one used in England to this day. When it looked like civil war might erupt, Dunstan chaired a meeting to mediate. At the second of these meetings, the floor gave way, dumping many present into the room below. Later accounts describe it as like heaven and hell, with Dunstan and his supporters seated calmly above, and his denigrators moaning and confused below. However, more contemporary accounts describe the disaster throwing almost everyone through the floor, except for Dunstan, who managed to cling onto a beam until rescue came. Another story tells of Dunstan, infuriated with a rebellious and self-indulgent house of monks in the fens. When he visited to rebuke them, he cursed them for their unrepentant indolence and rebellion, turning them all into eels, before throwing them into the surrounding waters, giving the settlement the name of Ely. The truth of this is debated, to say the least, but if not an accurate account, it possibly gives true impressions of St. Dunstan's management style and his preferred means of communication. At once an undeniably sincere and pious man, but uncompromising and unwilling to make allowances for others in the same high standards he applied to his own life. Dunstan announced his impending death to his congregation on the 19th of May, 988, at Canterbury Cathedral. He spent many years engaged in extravagant charity, draining his resources, as well as teaching and the foundation of many monasteries. St. Dunstan is remembered on the 19th of May.